In this video, we're going to look at how different values of slope change the way the line looks, as well as vertical and horizontal lines. So I've set up a line here in GeoGebra, and it has a y-intercept of 0. You can see y equals mx plus b. I have sliders for m, the slope, and b, the y-intercept. So right now the y-intercept is 0, so the line crosses through 0, 0. And the slope is 1/2. So you can see if you go up 1 and over 2, that would define our slope. So what can we say about this slope? It's a positive slope. So we look at as the x values are increasing, we look towards the right, and we look at what's happening to the line. If it goes up like you're climbing up a hill, it has a positive slope. If the line goes down, like you're going down a hill, it has a negative slope. And look, we can see the negative number in front of the slope here. So what about this? Positive slope or negative slope? Negative slope. Positive slope or negative slope? Positive slope. So you have positive 2 is the slope, it's a positive number, and also as you go to the right, it goes up. Positive slope or negative slope? As we go to the right, it goes up. Positive slope. Positive slope or negative slope? As we go to the right, the line is going down, so it's a negative slope. We're also sometimes interested in knowing if this line is very steep or really gentle. So this line is steep. Imagine that's a hill you have to climb. If you're trying to go up this hill, would you say it's a steep hill or a gentle hill? I would say a steep hill. Don't try to bike up that hill. When the slope is equal to 1, this is a 45-degree angle. I'd say it's neither really steep nor very gentle. It's kind of in between. And then as the slope becomes smaller, like this would be a more gentle line. And any line that would be more flat than this would be a very gentle slope. Now, even if it's a negative slope, we can still say it's steep. This line has a very steep negative value. This line is negative, and it's not very steep. I'd say it's gentle. It's a fairly gentle line. Now I set up this slider so it just goes every half value, every 0.5, so I can't actually make this line get more gentle, but any line with a slope of like a quarter, tenth, anything like that would be gentle, or negative quarter, negative tenth. So I made this line so that it has a y-intercept of 0. Even if the y-intercept is different, we can still say all the same things about the slope. It still has a negative slope. The value of the y-intercept didn't affect the slope. And this is still a steep line, even though the y-intercept has changed. Now what can we say if the line has a slope of 0? We can't say it's steep, and we can't say it's gentle. This is called a horizontal line, and for a horizontal line, the slope is equal to 0. The equation, the mx part disappears because m is 0, the slope is 0, 0 times x disappears completely, and we're only left with y equals 2. Why 2? Why is 2 such an important number? Well, that's the y-intercept. And it makes sense that this is the equation of the line. The equation needs to tell you what the line looks like, right? And look at this line. If x is equal to 0, y is equal to 2. If x is equal to 1, y is equal to 2. If x is equal to 2, y is equal to 2. If x is equal to 3, y is equal to 2. No matter what x is equal to, y is always equal to 2. So that's why it makes a lot of sense for the equation to be y equals 2. And this horizontal line, way to remember that it's horizontal, well, it's parallel with the horizontal axis, that can help, but also, if you were watching the sun sets at the horizon, past the horizon, and the horizon is horizontal. So you can just imagine that the sun is peeking out by this line, and that makes it very different than a vertical line. Vertical line runs up and down, and it would be the opposite. So I'm going to write an equation for a vertical line. And let's make it a color. Okay, let's forget about these other things and just focus on this vertical line. So, what can you say about this line? Does it have a y-intercept? No. Does it have a slope? Well, you could try to calculate it. If I go up 1 and over, it doesn't go over. It doesn't have a run. I can't find the slope. So this is a little bit tricky. I can't do 1 over 0. We can't divide by 0. There's never any division by 0 in our number system. It doesn't work. So we need a different way to define this line. Well, let's think about what we did with the horizontal line. We knew that y was always equal to 2. And see here, when y is equal to 0, x equals 5. When y is equal to 1, x equals 5. When y is equal to 2, x equals 5. For every value of y, x equals 5. So a great equation would be x equals 5, because that's always true. And there's nothing going on with the y values, so it's just completely out of the equation. Let's have a look at what you need to write in your notes and go through it together. Okay, so we've looked at the equation of the line quite a bit. Y equals mx plus b. You know that m is the slope, and y is the y-intercept. So, sketch a line with positive slope. I asked you to sketch the line in green. If you don't have any colors, then just put any line on this graph and right beside it, positive slope. So a positive slope, any line at all that is going up. A line with a negative slope. Let's just do one more thing related to the positive slope. The m is always going to be a positive number. It's always going to be greater than 0. A red line with a negative slope. And in this case, what is m always going to be? M is less than 0. Okay, what does a steep line look like? Well, we were talking about that. A steep line, it's a big hill, tricky to climb. This would be steep. The m value is large. It could also be a negative value as long as it's like a hill that's tricky to climb, okay? And a gentle line, well, a gentle line has a smaller value of m. Uh-oh, I changed the color on that last one. Okay. You want for a steep one, let's say that for a steep line, the m value is going to be bigger than 1. Maybe even bigger than 2. Let's just say bigger than 1. And now let's do a gentle line. Easy hill to climb. I can make it up there with my bike. So for this, our slope has to be somewhere between -1 and 1. So maybe something like, what is this here? I didn't really think about it being easy to read when I made it. Maybe up 1 over 4. So in this case, the slope looks like a quarter. So something like a half, a quarter, 2/3, as long as, or negative 2/5, as long as it's between -1 and +1. A horizontal line. Okay, so in your notes, you have an equation that you're asked to graph. Remember that a horizontal line is something like, this isn't the correct answer, it's something like this. And for this horizontal line that I've written right here, x is always -1. So that's the equation that explains it. X is equal to -1. Now you're asked to do a different question, so it's going to be somewhere else on the graph. And now a vertical. I did the horizontal line completely wrong. Okay, now we're going to do a horizontal line. Now remember, a horizontal line goes across like the horizontal axis or like the horizon. So a horizontal line would look something like this. This isn't the same as the equation you're given, okay? How do we define this line? Well, no matter what x is, we always have y equals 4 all the way across. Y is always equal to 4. So the equation for this would be y is equal to 4. The y-intercept's 4. Every possible point, y is always equal to 4. That's how we define. So if your value was 5, then it would be y equals 5 would be a horizontal line through y equals 5. Let's go on to vertical. So vertical, up and down, just like the vertical axis. So let's do an example with a vertical line. Okay, let's do a vertical line through -1. So for the vertical line, we don't have a y-intercept. We can't do the slope because it goes straight up and down, and that would give us 1 over 0. We can't do 1 over 0. So how can we define this line? Well, no matter what the y value is here, x is always equal to -1. So down here, x is equal to -1, and at y equals 1, x equals 1, and here x equals -1, and here x equals -1, and here x equals -1. Every possible point, even all the in-between ones, x always equals -1. So that's how we are going to define the equation. X equals -1. You have a different question to do in your notes, but it's the same idea. Whatever that number is, say this number was -2, then the line would be over here at -2.